MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, it doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you know it. I know it. It does not matter who the host is. Today is Thursday. Yes. I almost said November. Why am I in November when June is what's going on? June the 22nd of 2023. Day 173rd of the year, and only 192 days left to go. Yes, that is it. 192. Yes, 192 gets us across the pathway of what the hell we need to be doing. Yeah, that's what's going on. Anyways, how are you? How was your overnight? How did everything go? Is everything going good and grand on this terrific Thursday for you so far? I really hope that it is. We got a lot of information, a lot of stories to cover today, but let's talk about it a little bit. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. And then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues, not in the Flashpoint, but, at that other side.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Yes, infiltration and Radio Big have always gone hand in hand on how the things go. There is no doubt about that. So, that's going on. Anyways, if you want to interact with the show, simple process on doing so, callinradio.com. Callinradio.com. I'm always kind of amazed when we do the Whip 'em Out Wednesday, the amount of interesting items that come across. But thank God that we're in terrific Thursday at the moment, so we don't have to worry about any of that stuff. So callinradio.com. You can take a look at us across the different social medias because that's an availability thing. I'm just kind of going through that whole sequence of events as we are talking. So there you go. There's that. So I don't know where to start today because there's so much stuff that has happened since yesterday or since the last time that I had the privilege, yes, because it is a privilege to be able to hang out with you. So as I say that, where do you want to start today? Do we just kind of go through the whole plethora of things that I already have lined out, or is there something, I'll say, special that you want to go into? I mean, I'm open either way on what you want to do. There is no doubt about that. You know how it goes around here. We keep it real, baby. We keep it real in regards of what the hell's going on. And I'm always amazed as keeping it real as it is when we call people out on their shit, regardless of what it is, good, bad, or indifferent, the same way that I have no expectations for people not to do the same here. So that's why we kind of are always, we'll say, evolving in regards of changing the ways that things are done around this radio station on the Safety FM side of the house. So you'll see some of that here in the next coming weeks. Also, you will be seeing some, where am I at now? June 22nd. So you'll be seeing some pretty big changes occurring to good old Radio Big, and we'll talk about that, how you can do some of the interactivity. But maybe I'm about a week ahead on that. I know I told you that a few weeks ago, but we had, we'll say, systemic issues is probably the best way to put it in regards to what was going on there. So if you're not familiar with what we do around here during this hour of the Jay Allen in the Morning Show that we refer to as the Rated R Safety Show, we talk about safety in the news and safety. That's kind of the best way to kind of go about what we talk about. There's some new stuff and there's some safety stuff. That's kind of how it goes. And we try to mix the worlds together. And some person's going to sit back and go, but it's not all about safety. Yes, I know. If that's the only thing you ever talk about, guess what you've just lost inside of your world? The validity of your people. Duh. It's just kind of the way that it goes there. I just don't want that to be some element of surprise. You kind of need to do some mix and match. If you can't do pop culture stuff or talk about things that are topical, you might gonna run into a problem. Just throwing that out there. I'm trying to be nice here in regards of how we're talking about this. Anyways, with that being said, let's talk about real quick what the hell was trending in the overnight.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so looking at the trends of the ends of the ends, another EV maker buddies up with Tesla, and a dumb criminal cell phone plot is spoiled. We'll talk about that as we get into the shit list. Britney Spears says that the family reunion her mother has wanted has already happened. So there you go. Ryan Murphy is headed to a new studio. We'll get into a little bit of that stuff. And then we will talk about some of the things that people were super excited about. We won't say the yellow submarine, but we'll talk about a submarine, and I think you kind of already know what we're going there as we are talking. Anyways, with that being said, let's bring in the professional newscasters here, as we have some of those that are sitting. Yeah, they're just sitting right out there, just waiting to let you know exactly what the hell's going on inside of the world of the news. So why torture them anymore? Let's go ahead and bring them in here.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Mark Mayfield. A large tornado has hit the town of Matador, Texas, causing major damage. The town is located in the northern part of the state, about 60 miles east of Lubbock. Injuries have been confirmed by local officials, although it's unclear the number injured or potential fatalities. The House has voted to censure Democratic Congressman Adam Schiff for his role in the investigations of alleged collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy announced Wednesday's vote.
On this vote, the ayes are 213 and the nays are 209. With 6 answering present, the resolution adopted. Without objection, the motion to consider is laid on the table.
Republicans tried to advance a similar censure measure last week, but 20 Republicans voted with Democrats to block the move, objecting to language that could have resulted in a $16 million fine for Schiff. The provision was removed and gained full GOP support. Schiff, who's running for an open Senate seat in California, is the 25th lawmaker in U.S. history to be censured by the House. House Republicans have failed to overturn President Biden's veto of the Congressional Review Act. Brian Shook reports.
The Congressional Review Act, which would have ended Biden's student loan forgiveness plan, passed in the House and Senate earlier this year before the president vetoed the resolution. On Wednesday, the House failed to get the majority vote to overturn that veto. I'm Brian Shook.
And the U.S. Coast Guard is predicting that the oxygen supply on the missing vessel used to explore the Titanic will run out in a matter of hours. Search efforts have been intensifying since Sunday, when the submersible carrying 5 people disappeared. And a new poll showing an increase in Americans who believe a person's gender should be determined based on their biological sex. The poll was conducted by NPR, PBS NewsHour, and Marist. It says 61% of Americans define gender as the sex listed on the person's original birth certificate. That's up over 10% from last year. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in New Delhi, I'm Ashan Garg. South Korea is calling on China to uphold its responsibility to deter North Korea's missile program. China has reacted angrily after U.S. President Joe Biden referred to Chinese President Xi Jinping as a dictator. The U.S. Coast Guard says we have to remain hopeful. It gave an update on the noises heard near where the small underwater vessel vanished Sunday with 5 people inside. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Democrats in Congress are reintroducing the Equality Act, they say, to protect LGBTQ people from discrimination. Lisa Taylor explains.
The legislation comes as several states in the past year have passed bills Democrats claim target the LGBTQ community, including Florida's parental rights bill, which critics call the Don't Say Gay law. The Equality Act would expand federal civil rights to stop discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity in areas including employment, housing, education, federal funding, and others. I'm Lisa Taylor.
A new poll shows a majority of Americans don't approve of the Supreme Court's work. A Quinnipiac University poll found just 30% of registered voters approve of the Supreme Court, compared to 59% who disapprove. The poll notes it's the lowest approval rating for the Supreme Court since Quinnipiac started asking the question in 2004. Just 10% of registered Democrats surveyed approved of the court, compared to 53% of Republicans. The survey comes nearly a year after the court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, essentially ending the constitutional right to abortion. A U.S. Postal Service stamp honoring late Congressman John Lewis has been unveiled. Trey Thomas has more.
Several leaders, including House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, attended Wednesday's ceremony on the House floor.
John Lewis was an extraordinary man of courage, compassion, and moral character.
A prominent leader of the civil rights movement in the 1960s, Lewis served in Congress for more than 30 years until his death in 2020. I'm Trey Thomas.
And one team has locked up its spot in the College World Series Championship. The second-seeded Florida Gators scored a ninth-inning run to take down TCU 3-2 in the semifinals in Omaha on Wednesday. The Gators are back in the championship series for the first time since winning the national title in 2017. Fifth-seeded LSU stayed alive with a 5-2 win over top-seeded Wake Forest in Game 1 of their semifinal series. The teams will go head-to-head in a win-or-go-home matchup Thursday night for a spot in the championship. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and catch the bus. Text and miss your stop. Wait. Text and be late to work. Sorry, I'm late. Text and work. Text and pretend to work. Text and act surprised when someone calls you out for not working.
Who, me?
Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi. Oh, hey.
Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Is that a faucet running? That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello. It's this show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, yes, Rated R Safety Show. That's what they call it around here, that's for sure. 16 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this terrific Thursday and doing all the fun stuff. that we get to do. So don't worry about that because we get to talk, we get to speak, we get to hang, we get to bang, we get to do all that kind of fun stuff, even on a Thursday. Yeah, how fantastic is that? So let's talk about this. Tesla is cementing its foothold on as the standard barrier, the standard barrier, listen to me, standard bearer in the vehicle world. Rival EV maker Rivian featured in the 2021 Apple TV series The Long Way Up, starring Ewan McGregor, has announced that it will make its vehicles compatible to use Tesla's charging network beginning next year. GM and Ford have made a similar agreement in the recent years. You know, I have to tell you, I don't know how familiar you are with this Tesla charging system, but, you know, there's these weird standards that people have if you have a Tesla, where if you go to a charging station, you're supposed to leave room between you and the next charger and all that because, you know, it doesn't do as much power if you park right next to someone. And, you know, there's these things that people expect. And there are certain areas that those chargers are so full that people are waiting for a long period of time. And listen, I understand with change this is going to occur. But when you start opening this up to more and more vehicles, how is that going to look? I'm just asking, because wait times are going to change. People are not going to be happy. I mean, I want you to kind of put this into perspective as we speak. When you go to the gas pump currently, if the gas station is packed out, do you normally try to find the closest gas station after that? If the answer is yes, this is not going to be similar in compatibility. Now, I'll tell you the area where I live. Probably from my home to the closest charger is about 7 miles. Not a problem. Not an issue whatsoever. I think they have 14 spots at that one. The closest one after that is over 20 miles away to get to it. So the ebb and flow in the build out is going to have to play a big factor into what happens. Now, listen, this is an opinion because we're still kind of we'll say in the early stages, not the super early stages, but we're still in the early stages on how this process is going to work. And then I want to know, is there going to be an adapter? How is this going to work with the other cars? I mean, there's a lot of questions still to be answered as we go forward with that. But keep that in mind as we are talking. Anyways, in some other news, do you love dogs to the tune of six-figure salary? Yeah, take a listen to this. A LinkedIn job description offers $127,000 in salary to take care of a billionaire's family dog. The dog nanny gig requires the utmost discretion and a commitment to the pooch's overall well-being, happiness, and safety. The top of the salary, the job would include room and board, likely in the family's mansion. No word on who the job is for, though it was posted in a high-end staffing agency, and this is via the New York Post. So $127,000 living potentially in the New York area. Let's talk about also that room and board inside of a mansion. I mean, it might be the best of both worlds.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, a Wisconsin man just marked his 60th anniversary with the same company. Don Sibold has worked at a manufacturing company, Formrite, since the 1960s for $1.38 an hour. I just left home here, and Siebold tells the local Fox affiliate. Siebold now works part-time as the project manager and is eyeing retirement, but not yet. The company bought him his own John Deere mower to celebrate the milestone. This is via Fox 11. 60 years at the same company. I mean, that's some level of commitment. I mean, I understand at some point, you know, back in the good old days when you would get pensions and all that kind of fun stuff for staying with an organization for a period of time. So things have changed throughout. So hopefully, you know, he's getting the best of both worlds as we are talking. Anyway, take a listen to this. Did you know if you wrap your cell phone in foil, it will get a signal? One Florida criminal found that out the hard way after police busted him with 17 cell phones in his vehicle, many of them encased in Reynolds wrap. Yeah, we went brand specific there. His most recent victim was able to track her missing iPhone as soon as she discovered it was missing while at a restaurant. The technology led police right to the crook. Officials are now working to identify and return the remaining phones. This is via WSMV. So take a look at that. So the man was stealing phones allegedly and had 17 of them. Now, I don't know if you've ever done this, but if you have all 17 phones turned on and you are getting signal and you start going anywhere where you have crowdsourcing for traffic, it's going to say there's a small cluster with those 17 vehicles or 17 phones being tracked. I'm just letting you know because I saw a guy run an experiment, but he had over 100 phones and had no traffic, but he was testing on how you could fool technology. But it was interesting, and I figured, hey, this is the perfect opportunity to bring this up. So guess what I just did? I brought it up. So there you go. Anyways, regulators have approved the lab-grown meat from chicken cells for consumer. Two California-based startups, Upside Foods and Good Meat, hey now have the go-ahead to mass-produce their offerings. Their technology uses cells from a living animal to somehow multiply those cells, which get rolled into a giant sheet that they formed into shapes of cutlets, patties, and nuggets. Good Meat is already selling in Singapore. Instead of all the land, that all the water that we use for the feed of these animals, that they are slaughtered, we can now do it differently, says the CEO of Good Meat's parent company. So, what do you think? What do you think about it? I mean, it's interesting. It's definitely an interesting aspect in regards to that. So, will this be a meat product that you'll be putting into your mouth? I'm just asking because it's going to get interesting on how that is. And, people will be like, oh, I'll try it and all this other kind of stuff. But what's going to happen in the long run? Maybe that's the question of it all. Anyways, let's do this. Let's bring some John Smalls into our life and let him tell us about what the hell's going on with the market.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Thursday, June 22nd, brought to you by GenesisGoldIRA.com. Equity markets pulled back for another day Wednesday as fear of the FOMC comes back into play. Comments from Fed Chief Jerome Powell that multiple interest rate hikes were coming caught the market off guard. The comments are identical to the FOMC's policy stance at the last meeting, but the market wasn't buying it for some reason. In the eyes of average investors, the FOMC is close to ending the hiking cycle, which is what matters. The risk in that outlook is that rates are high, inflation is still high, and the economy is on a trajectory that could result in disaster. Thursday could see the market sell-off accelerate. The catalyst could be the index of leading indicators, which is expected to fall again. This will be the 14th consecutive decline in the index and could be a large one. The trend in the data is more telling and has been making successively larger negative peaks, suggesting growing weakness in the economy. You can get the inside track in your inbox at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, John Smalls, for the information right there on what the hell's going on inside of that particular world. Take a listen to this. The Dow lost about 102 points to close at 33,951 on Wednesday. The S&P lost about 23 points to close at 4,365, and the NASDAQ lost about 165 points to close at 13,502. West Texas Intermediate closed at $72 a barrel, and Brent crude was at about 77 or so. So there you go. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.58 on Wednesday. Bitcoin exploded on Wednesday, up over 6% and trading over $30,000. Yep, $30,000 for Bitcoin. It's kind of high compared to most of the times that we've been talking about it, so there you go. And there were some more than 4,100 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Wednesday, and more than 170 such cancellations. So just so you know, tomorrow night's Mega Million jackpot will be for $320 million jackpot or $167.7 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game, you have the opportunity to do so. So what are you going to do? I don't know. That's why I'm asking. I'm asking what you're doing. I mean, I didn't say here's what I'm doing. So there you go. So take a listen to this. Tropical storm Brett is a little meaner this morning as it was unleashed a portion of the Leeward Island today and tonight. Meanwhile, Robbie Berg at the National Hurricane Center says the tropical depression number 4 has formed in the central Atlantic.
Right now, the forecast track for this system looks like it's going to remain just to the northeast of the Lesser Antilles, potentially staying over the open ocean over the central Atlantic. So at this point, no direct impacts to land expected.
He says the Hurricane Hunter plane is in standby to take a closer look. Tropical storm Brett, max sustained winds of 70 miles per hour with a hurricane watch in effect for St. Lucia and tropical storm warning in effect for Dominica, St. Lucia, and Martinique. So there you go. A lot of interesting stuff as we are going right there. Iowa's 2 U.S. senators are proposing a bill that inspired the recent Supreme Court decision. Republican Senator Chuck Grassley says that EATS Act would prevent states from impending AG trade from other states. Take a listen.
Feeding your family is not a partisan issue, and neither is protecting our food supply chain. Food security, after all, is national security.
Grassley, from the remarks on the Senate floor, he and fellow Republican Joni Ernst of Iowa and Roger Marshall of Kansas are backing the bill. The court ruled in favor of California's Proposition 12, which regulates certain livestock practices in the state. So there you go. Some interesting stuff going on right there as we are talking. Unclaimed veteran remains will be laid to rest on Friday after a public memorial. And Laney Strovers of Hamilton Funeral Home in Des Moines says that the service at Hamilton South Town starts at 11:30.
We have 14 people total that we're laying to rest. 9 of them are Army veterans, 2 are Air Force veterans, 1 Marine, and 2 spouses of veterans.
These also are processions to the Iowa Veterans Cemetery for the military honors at 2 o'clock. The public is welcome and encouraged to attend. Also, from the Hamilton Funeral Home says that past memorials of unclaimed veterans in Des Moines have attracted hundreds of people wishing them to pay respect.
This is something really special. It's not just special to the cemetery, but it's special to the veteran community.
So there you go. A lot of information right there as we are talking. Prosecutors are dropping charges against 2 men that were charged with a murder in a 2011 shooting and death of an off-duty Chicago police officer. Tyrone Clay spoke after he was released from jail.
Feel good after 12 years. Feel real good.
Assistant State Attorney announced that during a hearing yesterday that they were dropping charges against Clay and Edgardo Colon after reviewing the evidence in the case. Clay and Colon and Alexander Vija were charged after Lewis was shot and killed by 2 masked men in 2011 while working their second job as security in the West Side convenience store. Vija was convicted in 2019 but hasn't been sentenced, and he is pending motion for a new trial. So what do you think about it? Makes you kind of think all kinds of interesting stuff. That is for sure as we are talking. Take a listen to this one. A man and a woman from DeBarron Heights say that they found a hidden camera in their private jacuzzi in a room in Ann Arbor. He says that it was the size of a small Lego, and it was in the Oasis hot tub garden. Take a listen.
I told him, can you please not touch it? The police are on their way, but the manager came and popped the camera lens out. And it's clearly a camera.
His wife found the wedged inside of a wooden sculpture. Police are investigating. The couple did not want their names to be used. The Barron Heights man says that his wife found the camera in their private spa. Take a listen.
I've never been that terrified in my life. I've never seen things like that in real life. And that's my wife, you know? Like, we're Muslim.
So I got a lot of questions there. On what the hell was going on, that there's a lot of concern. I mean, listen, there should no way be a camera in any kind of a place that you're renting out and kind of stuff like that. Yeah, so that gets a little bit strange, but man, what a weird world of the weird.
It's this show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, take a listen to this. Former Grand Rapids area gymnastic coach Shannon Goy is facing 6 additional charges after 5 more sexual assault victims spoke up. Kent County Sheriff Michelle LaJoy Young says that the girls are dealing with the long-term effects.
The impact obviously is on that victim initially when they're being victimized, but that kind of violation of trust has far-reaching effects into somebody's life.
Okay, he is now charged with 5 first-degree criminal sexual conduct counts and 1 of kidnapping count of the total of 21 charges. The Kent County Prosecutor's Office and Kent County Sheriff's Office are working with authorities in Florida, Texas, California, and Washington, where Goy also coached gymnastics to find the possible victims. All victims in the Metro Grand Rapids were under the age of 14, and youngest girl was at the age of 4. Kent County Prosecutor Chris Becker says that they are looking for additional sexual abuse victims of former gymnastics coach. Take a listen.
people stepping forward at any time with any information is extremely beneficial, as we see.
So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there. Terrible news to have to report, but things that are actually going on inside of this world. Take a listen to this. Auto thefts are up 33% from last year in Detroit and 53% in Des Moines. As a result, Wayne County prosecutor Kim Worth and Detroit Area Police Department are starting a new auto theft task force. Assistant Prosecutor Kim Miles spoke about their force.
If they don't have a car, they can't get to work. They can't pay their mortgages. They can't pay their rent. So aside from it being just profitable for people buying black market parts, it's devastating to the family and to the community.
Okay, Des Moines Heights Police Chief Jared Hart says they're going to make a counterfeit effort to catch thief. Detroit, Des Moines Heights, Garden City, and some other police task force are joining together. Des Moines Heights Police Chief Jared Hart says that we are going to make a concerted effort to catch the thieves.
We're coming after you. We will not tolerate you operating without impunity in our communities.
So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there as we are talking. What do you think about it? Does it get you excited? You know, and here's the thing that I talk about. A lot of people go, you talk a lot about Michigan. Well, I know this. But the reason that I talk a lot about Michigan, it's because some things that are happening inside of the world. So we need to talk about this stuff. It's kind of important to discuss, so don't worry about that. Outside of that, we talk about it because things can be happening in other areas as well. Anyways, with this being said, it is 32 minutes past the top of the hour, so let's do that thing that we do around here because it is important to do so. So let's go ahead and get into the main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so main story time. And listen, I know that sometimes we talk about things, we go into that deep, dark path of stuff, and life goes into the life things that people don't want to talk about. But unfortunately, from time to time, we talk about topical stuff as it's happening in pretty close to real time and go from there. And as you have heard over the last few days, there has been this whole conversation about this submarine that went to go see where the Titanic's at. You know, you've heard about this. Now, there is this very interesting thing that an interview shows a Titanic expedition firm CEO says the following. Safety is waste. I'm not joking. I'm not joking as I say this. It says safety is waste. And he goes as far as he tells CBS, and it says, you know there is a limit. At some point, safety is just pure waste. And I mean it. If you want to be safe, don't get out of bed. Don't get in your car. Don't do anything. And at some point, you're going to take some risk. And it's really risk-reward question. I think I can do this just as safely by breaking the rules. Now think about that for a moment. This person has said this and also has now went on an expedition or has, this expedition that was set up for this submarine. And as you know, you've heard that there was sounds that were being heard, but there's really no true good tracking systems and them to be able to interact because it was not actually going in through the guidelines. And let's not go through this whole scenario of shoulda, coulda, woulda, oh, I told you so, because that's not what we're looking for. But if this is the mental model on how safety is being looked at inside of your organization, this is a huge problem. And I'm not saying, hey, jump up and bail, but holy crap-oli, dude. Think about this for a moment. This is coming from the top telling you this. So this should be a huge sign of concern within the organization itself. I mean, if you're at a place where safety is considered a waste, I would be super concerned at being there because I don't think that you'll ever get anything past the starting point. Now, I didn't say the finish line. I said the starting point. You can have ideas and things that you want to do, and how do you move them forward? Because safety is a waste. Safety is a dream. Safety is not something realistic from this particular person's point of view. Think about it for a moment. They are legitimately telling you that this is pretty much a waste of their time. And if you really want to move forward with it, just stay in bed. Don't do anything. There is a better success rate of staying in bed than what there is to move forward. I mean, there's some other dangerous activities you can do in bed, but I think that's for a different show. But think about that. If this is what's being said, how do you change the model inside of the organization? And listen, I understand big risks, big reward. I get that bullshit that people talk about all the time. But what do you do here? How do you change it what's inside of the organization? And maybe that's the thought process today to talk about. What do you do to be able to move forward as these things happen? Seriously. That's the question. I mean, I'm kind of mind-boggled when I read this yesterday in regards of, safety is a waste. Think about that. Think about you hearing that inside of your organization. How are you going to react to that whole thing? Yeah, it kind of stirs up that emotional event for some.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and we're not 100% sure on what they meant. Things is mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
What is dedication?
I am the father of a 9-year-old little girl and a 6-year-old little boy. And I find fatherhood both relentlessly challenging and relentlessly rewarding. My daughter is biological and my son is adopted. I love them both so much. From the morning when you wake up to putting them to bed at night and every moment in between, it really is so special, and boy, is it exhausting. One thing that I fear about being a parent is the future for my children. I think a parent's job is to protect our children, but also prepare them for the world so they become good, kind human beings. But I'm also hopeful that the future holds a more inclusive and compassionate world for them.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
If you're worried your friend may be struggling, remember, you don't have to be there to be there.
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat on the game, kick off your flip-flops. You could ask on your couch while you binge watch.
Whatever gets you talking. Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and the JED Foundation.
So do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com/one. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety
safety trainers still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety.
How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Trying to carry me to my grave. The shallow earth is where my bones now lay. But the earth keeps sinking deeper and I can't escape. I'm just another soul trying to be saved. This love's gonna carry me to my grave. I'm just another soul trying to be saved. This love's gonna carry me to my grave. Love and understanding and accepted your ways from the corners of the earth. Now
Oh, well, there you go. 42 minutes past the top of the hour.
beginning to regret you.
Yeah, this is still the Rated R Safety Show. Jay Allen in the morning show, hour number 1. Oh, yes, to my grave. Step Rockets. You know, I've played this one before, but damn it, I love this song. You know, we all need some music in our life, just some of us don't recognize that. Yep. So there you go. Take a little download action from this one. Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music. Enjoy it all there. So there you go. Thanks to Step Rockets for allowing us to play this over and over again. So let's get into it. Let's get into what's going on in some real time of our life. Yeah, I know. I get so hung up on some of this music stuff that we play around here. I'm not going to lie about it. I'm not going to lie. I love it. I love it. I can sit and listen to music for countless hours. Yep. Just kind of what happens. Just letting you know. Anyway, so let's talk about the most important thing that I am going to ever tell you in my lifetime. And listen, understand that no matter what you are facing, you deserve to be connected to help. Seriously. I'm not joking as I say that. So my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms want you to know that people have been where you are now. Things can get better and healing is possible. If you go to their website, twloha.com. That's twloha.com. And click on the section that says Find Help. All kinds of numbers listed there. Anything that you can imagine: addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorder, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support. You name it, it's there. There's all kinds of other stuff that I can list, but that's what it is. It's a list, but it's all available. Things that are available for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This life is not easy. Things are not easy. People might pretend on social media that things are perfect, but they're not. I get it. I understand it. And I think that you having this as a resource is going to benefit you in a lot more ways than it wouldn't. I mean, I'm being dead serious as I say that. So, twloha.com. To Write Love on Her Arms, click on the section that says Find Help. So there you go. Let's talk real quick about the latest of AI. Yes, with the rise of AI, you might be concerned about the security of your job, and really, who isn't? But these days, well, good news for you. If you work with your hands, leading experts in the fields of artificial intelligence claim that those who do manual labor, including plumbers, construction workers, and carpentry, are likely safe for the expansion of AI. He also says that the call centers staffers could be unemployed soon as bots take over those jobs. Professor Michael Woodridge of the University of Oxford says that those jobs require dexterity. Likely they won't be replaced by AI in a video he released on the subject. Woodridge points out that that an awful lot of jobs which really require human understanding and having a human there is really quite important. For that reason, he's not as pessimistic as about the future. He uses the example of the university staff, which analyze, fetal scans, which use AI to spot abnormalities. He calls that one example of the huge range of technology which is going to make people's lives better. I knew that AI could never replace a plumber because where are you going to find a machine willing to get themselves elbow deep in some other person's? Well, you know what I'm going to say there, so you can get into that. And I watched the video, and I'm not sure if this dude is real or not. I mean, I'm just going to throw that out there. Just to say it because I thought it was kind of interesting. So let's talk about some things that are going on because I think it's kind of funny. Take a listen to this one. An iconic Colorado restaurant called Casa Bonita reopens Friday after closing down food service during 2020 when the previous owner filed bankruptcy, and some people wanted to catch a glimpse of the establishment as the restaurant's back to form.
I hope it lives up to the expectations that people had as kids.
Yes, 100%.
Okay, they said that they learned about Casa Bonita from a little show that you might have heard of known as South Park, and wanted to see it while visiting Colorado. Casa Bonita announced yesterday the next phase is reopening, and the restaurant will open for dinner on June the 23rd and 24th, and in June the 29th through July the 1st, but it is limited number to time tickets and price tag. Dinner tickets are about $40 for adults and $25 for kids ages 3 through 12. It's 8 people max per group, and tickets must be purchased online. Visitors hope to see the iconic Casa Bonita, and it comes back better than ever.
It would be cool if they just made it better, made the food good, but kept the childhood wonder vibes alive.
Yeah, that's what I'm really, really hoping as well.
So if you have the opportunity, if you have not seen it, there is a very good news piece that has been done about Casa Bonita and the love that Trey and Matt from South Park, which are the creators of South Park, just so you know, have for this. And they're the ones that are essentially restoring this thing, that have purchased it and decided to move forward on bringing it back to its good old glory days. So just so you know, I'm not joking as I say that, so keep that in mind. Take a listen to this. The San Diego Humane Society is making a really easy to add a new furry friend to your family. Bree Tennis explains.
It's a special discounted adoption weekend at the Humane Society. They're slashing adoption fees for adult dogs and cats this Saturday and Sunday. Any dog or cat over the age of 7 months will now cost $20 to adopt. It's a promotion sponsored by Purina, the pet food people. Right now, there are 350 adult dogs and 180 adult cats available for adoption. I'm Bree Tennis, NBC News Radio.
Holy crap, 7 months and you already considered an adult animal? I didn't realize that that's how that actually worked, but there you go. Take a listen to this. 7 people are in the hospital and a dozen or more are hurt from a hailstorm that pelted concert goers at Red Rock Amphitheater last night. One person named Nikki tweeted a video and shared that she had several bumps on her head and was bleeding from being hit by the hail. 8 to 9 people were treated at the famous venue ahead of the Louis Tomlinson concert, according to the West Metro Fire Rescue. Those taken to the hospital have 9 non-life-threatening injuries with cuts and broken bones reported. Severe weather swept across a good portion of the state throughout the afternoon and evening hours yesterday. Multiple tornadoes and large hail were spotted in the eastern plains. So there you go. Interesting stuff there. I mean, think about that. So just keep that in mind as we are talking for sure. Take a listen to this one. SeaWorld San Diego stepped in and rehabbed a sea turtle found in bad shape. Bree Tennis has more.
A green sea turtle was found off the coast of San Diego with a missing flipper, massive infection, and leeches. The marine reptile was discovered by a family visiting from Georgia, which is now the turtle's name. They rang the Coast Guard and then SeaWorld stepped in. After 8 months, Georgia the turtle did bounce back and can now dive and swim normally, even with one flipper. Her new address, a marine-protected area in the South Bay where she joined a population of other green sea turtles. I'm Bree Tennis, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Bree Tennis, for the information, because it's always important. Anyways, a U.S. Postal Service stamp honoring the late Congressman John Lewis has been unveiled. Several leaders, including House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, attended Wednesday's ceremony on the House floor.
John Lewis was an extraordinary man of courage, compassion, and moral character. As a young man, he suffered for his nation so that future generations can enjoy the full blessings of freedom.
The stamp design features a photo of Georgia Democrat taken by Time magazine in 2013. Its margins will have the 1963 photo of Lewis outside of the non-violent protest workers, a prominent leader of civil rights movement in the 1960s. Lewis served in Congress for more than 30 years until his death in 2020. The stamp is expected to be issued at some point next month. So there you go. Think about that as those things are coming about as we are talking. A former University of Kentucky swimmer told the Senate Judiciary Committee that the NCAA violated her rights. Riley Gaines said that herself and other teammates were forced to share locker rooms with the first openly transgender swimmer to win the Division I championship, Leah Thomas. Take a listen.
Although the NCAA claim it acted in the name of inclusion, its policies in fact excluded female athletes, which are the very female athletes whom Title IX was passed to protect.
Gaines says that she did not give consent to being exposed to male genitalia. When the former swimmer asked about the policy of the locker room, the NCAA responded that all rooms had been made gender neutral. So there you go. Some interesting stuff as we are talking, that is for sure. With that being said, let's talk real quick about the Motivation Minute, because I think we need to bring some John Smalls into our life. So let's do that.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Brandon. Dita Von Tess said, "You could be the ripest, juiciest peach in the world, and there's still going to be somebody who hates peaches." I love this. It's very true, too. Think about it in the terms of music. There are many different kinds of music: country, jazz, hip-hop, rock. If the very best jazz musician in the world was playing in your town, but you love country music, you're probably not too excited about them being there. I've seen that happen. Everybody gets all excited about something. It goes viral online, and I just don't get it. It's because even though it is a big deal, it's just not my thing. And that's okay. We all have our own interests. So do what you like. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlessaMorgan.com. One of the biggest longitudinal studies of happiness was conducted in Harvard. And unsurprisingly, one of the important ways to increase our levels of genuine happiness is quality social connection. Quality social connection falls into a number of different categories, including romantic connection, friendship, or daily superficial interaction. What is surprising is that superficial interactions are extremely important. Normally, when we hear quality social connection, most of us think about deep conversations. But it's very clear from the research that oftentimes, although of course not always, our conversations with people that we are closest to are actually trivial. In fact, it is often a sharing of the trivial day-to-day things between people that lead to feelings of connection, especially if it involves shared experience. For more information on wellness, check out AlessaMorgan.com.
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, you know how it goes around here. Pitfalling in society is a combination, I guess, that we do to some extent as we are talking. Anyways, currently 54 minutes past the top of the hour, so don't worry about that. Just so you know, at the top of the hour, Sheldon Primus will be taking over Safety FM and doing that thing that he does known as the Safety Consulting Show. So take a listen to that if you want to know about the business of safety consulting. I will be going over to Radio Big exclusively for the next couple hours or so, talking about the world of music and entertainment. If you want to come and hang out with me, always a fun time as we're doing our stuff over there. So no doubt about that. So let's talk about this real quick. If you are interested in coming out and hanging out with us in good old Orlando, Florida, you have the opportunity to do so at the Conklin Conference taking place September the 27th through the 29th in Ghetto, Orlando. Yep, would love to see you there. You have the opportunity to hang out with Bob Edwards, Mark Yeston, Jen Long, and of course, Todd Conklin himself. All you have to do is go to safetyfm.io to find out some more information on what the hell is going on over there. So we would love to see you if you have the opportunity to come and hang out and do that thing that we do. So don't worry about it. Conklin Conference, safetyfm.io. I'll be there hanging out doing the hosting duties because that's what I get to do. So there you go. Love to see you in Orlando. Let's talk about some things that are going on or that happened back on this day. So as I take a look around inside of this world of ours. So let's talk about, let's see. Back let's talk about 2011. 2011, hiding out in 16 years, Boston gangster Whitley Berger is arrested outside an apartment in Santa Monica, California. He had a long list of charges, including murder, that happened back on this day in 2011. Let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today. Danny Green turns 36. Carson Daly, yeah, that guy. He turns 50 today. Kurt Warner, 52. Dan Brown, 59. Randy Couture, yeah, one of my idols of the MMA world, turns 60. Clyde Drexler turns 61. Bruce Campbell turns 65. Tim Russ, actor, he turns 67 today. Cyndi Lauper, pop singer, turns 70. Meryl Streep turns 74. Elizabeth Warren turns 74. And Chris Christopherson, yeah, the country singer, yeah, he turns 87 today. Just to give you a little info guide. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, well, I have some of those for you as well. It's National Kissing Day. Yeah, that was some smoochie-oochies for you right there. World Rainforest Day. Be Kinder Day. National Onion Rings Day. National Chocolate Eclair Day. I think I should celebrate that one, I'm not going to lie. And Positive Media Day. Yeah, good luck with that. So there you go. Those are some days of the year to be able to celebrate. And let's see, if you need a random joke for today, I have one of those for you. There is no doubt about that. I am is the shortest sentence in the English language. Could it be that I do is the longest sentence? Think about that. That's coming from George Carlin. There you go. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. What painful, outdated phrase do you still use? If you need something for the water cooler, try this. Question. In a survey, 15% of restaurant servers say that they wish that their customers would stop doing this. What is it? Sitting together on the same side of the table or booth. Wonder why. That's kind of a weird one. So there you go. Anyways, thank you for hanging out with me because I really do appreciate it. You are the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big because you are the listener, in some case the viewer. So I appreciate you coming out and hanging out and doing the things that you do because, hey, who doesn't want to be without you? I mean, come on, let's just be realistic. Anyway, so let's say this as our deep thought for today. People who say they don't care what people think are usually desperate to have people think that they don't care what people think. Think about that. That's deep. Anyways, I know who you are. Duh. You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
The